Hey, I'm Lane. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I did start part 2. Part 2 is going to take place 19 up until I want to say 27. It is as impactful as part 2, part 1, but main difference is part 2, part B, I should say. It deals with traumatic events in my life. Now, as I previously mentioned, I am adopted and I was fostered before adoption. That's how it was done. That's how it is done, I should say. Before I was fostered, I was being abused and neglected by my birth family. That's my birth mother and my maternal grandmother, which is my birth mother's mother. And unfortunately, part two, I want to talk to you about the age of 19 until you know what? I am going to explain from age 19 up until 25. That's 25 because part 3 will be 25 until now. And part 4 will be now until future. So my plans for the future, what I'm doing, things like that. When I was 19, I got what I consider a severe and traumatic event. As I previously stated in part 1, I'm adopted, and before I was adopted, I was put in the foster care system from the age of 4 until the age of 9. Before I was in the foster care system, I was abused by my birth mother and my maternal grandmother. That's my birth mother's mother, and I was also neglected by my maternal grandmother. And because of what happened to me, I went through basically what a lot of kids would do. I was rebellious, I was acting out, I was being a total pain in the backside. I was, to put it bluntly, the fact that I didn't end up like most people would have expected me to end up, and I actually ended up kind of reserved and demure and quiet, and I hate those words because they're all very, like, you associate them with the little girl. I'm not a girl, I'm a man, I'm a boy, I'm a male. So, just so we're out of the way, I'm male. And, why did I just wink? So, yes. When I was 19, my birth mother found me on Facebook. Now you're probably thinking, oh, well, that's okay, that's easily rectified. It's not, because I had been in therapy since the age of 6 because of what happened to me when I was in foster care, and beforehand when I was living with my maternal grandmother and I was seeing my birth mother all the time. So basically what my birth mother did was quite literally open Pandora's box, and there was no hope in that box. Hope had been taken out. It's just all the nasty things. Everything I had spent years in therapy accepting, putting in a box, moving on, forgetting, forgiving, just basically having a future and having a life back. I'm sorry, that is annoying me. She found me on Facebook, and I didn't know who it was at first. Like, I didn't recognise the name. So I speak to Lex, who is on holiday with Herb, and I said to her, I don't know who this woman is, but she's asking me personal questions about me. And Lex said on the phone, she goes, that's your birth mother. And to this day, I don't remember much after that. I do remember trying to commit suicide for the first time. And that's something that has haunted me since then. I mean, I've compartmentalized it, I've sorted through it, I've gone through all the other therapy that happened after that traumatic event, moved on from it, but it's still there in the back of my mind. The fact that she found me when I thought I was safe. And if I'm not safe, After 13 years of not hearing from her, when will I ever be safe? A year later, I find out more about the abuse I suffered with my birth mother. And then Lex says to me one day, about 3 or 4 months after, I'm still reeling from the second traumatic event, which was finding out what exactly my birth mother had done to me in the terms of abuse. And Lexi says to me, if you were taller, if your hair was longer and naturally blonde, and your eyes were more blue, you'd be the spitting image of your mother. I cannot even begin to tell you how that felt. To hear the words that if I changed slightly, just small things about me. Height I can't do anything about, but the hair I could, the eyes I could. I would be the spitting image of the woman who abused me since, I don't know how old I was when it started, but I was at least 6 years old by the time it finished. So it's at least 4 years, maybe more. Why did she do that? I guess she was trying to do that to show me how familial I'd be, but I don't want to hear that if I change just slightly, I'm looking in the mirror at the woman who abused me. And that hurt me more than anything else had happened since. Because that struck right at my identity. By this point, I've already come out as transgender, but Lex hadn't believed me. She believed that it was the TV doing that because there was a trans student on the TV show. And she believed that because I watched that TV show, I was feeling what that person was feeling, which isn't true. I'm transgender. I was born trans. I will die trans. I will not ever be cisgendered. I can't be. I just can't. So yeah. Then at the age of 21, I am diagnosed with severe depression and a severe eating disorder, which I've had all my life. That eating disorder hasn't left. I was born with it and I'll die with it. But thankfully, since leaving that place and getting my own life and getting a start on myself and basically building a future, I'm the heaviest I've ever been in my 30 years of living. I'm nearly 10 stone. The most I've ever weighed before now was 8.2 stone. I'm pushing 10. And I even lost. That means at one point I was over 10, which is the best news I have ever heard. Ever. And I can't be happier. I honestly can't be happier. It's so wonderful to be myself. But yeah, so I'm diagnosed with that. At this point, I was already on benefits because I couldn't work because of what my mother had done. The damage she had dealt when she found me on Facebook was so cataclysmic. People say that you don't know what it's like when the world ends, and I've responded with, I've had a world end. I've had a world that I built myself from the ground up. I built cities. I built cathedrals. I built skyscrapers. I built bridges. I built an entire world, and in that one moment of my mother finding me, destroyed everything that I had spent 13 years building. I was set adrift in space with nothing below me and nothing above me and nothing around me. I had no world left. I didn't know how to cope. I didn't know what to think. I didn't even know. I didn't know myself anymore because my head was spun out. So because I'm on benefits, Lex comes to the conclusion that I can't be trusted with my own money. So she words things and twists my arm slowly but surely, making it seem like she's not doing anything. That's completely my thinking. It wasn't. She was leading me and I didn't see it. I'm an idiot for not seeing it. And she unofficially goes down as my appointee for my benefit, which in her eyes meant that she had the right to tell me what I could do with the money I was getting. That meant she could tell me what I could wear, how I could dress, how my hair should be, what my face should look like, what shoes I can wear, what friends I can have, where I can go. She tightened those purse strings so hard that at one point I got a tattoo that I've been meaning to get for ages because I wanted it to be a reminder of her and Herb and all the things they've done for me. Do you know what she did? Come closer. I'll tell you what she did. She threw a mug. Told me to get out of her sight. I make her sick. And how dare I do that to her? I'd saved up for that tattoo. It's something I'd wanted for a while. Granted, I borrowed £10 from her. She didn't know that what the tattoo was about the tattoo. But that doesn't give her a right to throw a cup and complain that I am the worst person she's ever met and make me feel this small when I wanted to do something for her. That's when I started to realise I needed out. Because quite frankly, staying put wasn't getting me anywhere. It was getting worse and worse and worse. I went to a convention about 3 years ago, actually. It was roughly the same time I got the tattoo. And Lex told me I couldn't go. So I begged her. I begged her for days to go. And she says to me, you can go, on one condition. You're not allowed to buy anything. I had saved up money for this. I wanted to buy one thing. I'll show you what I bought. I've actually got it right here. Give me a second. This is it. This is what I bought. A little Lelouch v. the Britannia from Code Geass statue. Do you know what she does when she finds out that I bought that? Because obviously I had to tell her, I couldn't lie to her. Because she wanted to see in my bag, and if I told her I bought nothing, she'd have gone through my bag herself. She already went through my mail. Yeah, that's right. My mail. She went through it. She had to know what I ordered. She had to know what this letter was from whoever it was. She had to know everything. So she then tells me to go get a job and not to go back home until I got it. So I went looking for a job. I managed to get one. So I was now working for my money, earning my hard-earned money. Do you know something? She wasn't satisfied with that. No, she had to take that money from me as well. There are multiple plans that I made, and she'd tell me the day before, you're not going. I don't like this. You're not going, you didn't tell me that. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. You're not meeting up with this person. Oh no, you can't go there. I might need the car. Yeah. A car that I was paying half for? That I had no say in? That I didn't even know what the car was going to be until she came home dropped it down in front of me and goes, I've paid the deposit, this is the car we're getting. No. If I'm buying something with someone else, you need to let me in on the deal before you make it. Because that is economical abuse. Financial abuse. Taking my money and not telling me the truth about it. She then writes a loan between me and my grandmother. I didn't have a say on that loan. I didn't even know it was being made until it had been made. She'd already spoken to my grandmother about this beforehand. So my grandmother was completely aware of what was going on. I had no idea. She then makes me write down at least 80% of the total money I was getting a month was going towards her for the rent and for the car. My phone broke, so I needed a new one for work because the only way you could sign in on work is using an app. And with no phone, you can't sign in. Her old phone, one that is smashed to pieces, which I still have here. I still have it. Smashed it to pieces. Does you think that will work? No, it won't. It will never work for what I need it for. So then she takes the loan that I had made and forces me to make it more tighter. So I end up giving her and my nan 90% of my earnings a month. I only had £100 a month to live on. And out of that 100, I had to pay for my phone bill. That's what she did to me. Shot me. Thanks. So yeah. I didn't have a life because of her. I had a past, yeah. But I didn't have a future, because I can tell you this, hand on my heart. If I didn't get out when I got out, I would have not survived the first UK lockdown. That's how bad it got. To this day, I wake up in the middle of the night terrified that she has found me and that she's coming for me. I don't want to live in fear because of her. The only thing I want is to be happy. Thanks, Lex. My birth mother broke me when I was 19. You did something worse than what she did. Because what she did to me was in the past. What you did was going on in the future too. It was still happening and it was getting worse. You shattered me. I've picked up the pieces. I can now look in the mirror and I don't see you or my birth mother. No, do you know who I see? Lane. That's who I see. I see myself. So this is part 2. Part 2. Part 3 won't be long. We'll see what I write.